I'd like to introduce you to a resource, an online resource. It's called Enterthebible. It's a free resource from Luther Seminary that I'm hoping that you will make use of, and that we will be able to, as you go on and study any part of the Bible, that you will find helpful and valuable. This when you get on the internet, and I'm sure you found this, if you've ever tried to Google something, you may get lucky and find something that's really good, but you're probably going to find a lot of stuff and you're going to go, okay, is this really, can I trust this? And you're going to find some stuff which just is really wacky. So this is a great place to go, where the material you find is going to be provided by Bible scholars with PhDs. A lot of these people are my friends or former teachers, and I trust them, and I know that what they write is reliable. So enterthebible.org is the website. When you go to that website, you're going to need to set up an account. So after you sign in, you have an account set up, and here's Kendra, which she did for us. Now, I'm not going to show you everything you can do with this website, partly because I haven't figured it all out yet, partly because they had the unmitigated gall to go and revise the website. And I thought it worked fine before. So now, an old aging Lutheran Luddite like me has to try and relearn it. But I want to call your attention up. You see where it says, well, first of all, everything you wanted to know about the Bible but were afraid to ask, you can enter something in there if you'd like. Let's put in Ezra, Ezzra. There you go. So you've got, it will take you to all kinds of stuff, and you can scroll down a bit here on Ezra, and you can click on any of these links, and you can learn something about Ezra. So if you're doing a Bible study and you get the name of somebody and you go, I don't remember who that is, you can go here and look it up. So let's go back up. We're going to get to this again eventually, but go up to where it says books, explore by, resources, courses, and got questions. Now, the one that you're going to use the most, I think, is right here. There's a drop-down menu from the Old Testament and the New Testament. So let's take, let's take Obadiah. Click on Obadiah. I always wanted to name a cat Obadiah. Now, so if you look here, the first thing you see is right under see all our related content is courses. So let's go there first. Now, here we go. So the courses have a bunch of stuff in it. This is written by Catherine Schifferdecker, who is an amazing Old Testament scholar. So go down, you see where it says dive in. Well, no, just let's scroll down, because you can get to this several ways. So you can go through an entire course, and you can either choose what you want from the course, or you can do it in order. So if you're really interested in Obadiah, you could just start the course, go through each one of these in line. But let's click on them just to see what's in there. You hit summary of Obadiah. There you go. So Obadiah, one of the 12 minor prophets, and he announces judgment on the nation of Edom for its sins against Judah and Jerusalem. Specifically, he denounces Edom for gloating over the destruction of Jerusalem by the Babylonians. So the nation of Edom has a long history of antagonism with what became the southern kingdom, the kingdom of Judah, that was destroyed by the Babylonian army in 587. And they said, and they laughed at the people as they were being carried away as exiles. And Obadiah doesn't have nice things to say. Okay, so what? What's important about it? Okay, here you go. So the day of the Lord is coming when the nations will be judged. That's the third sentence down, and Judah and Israel will be restored. So maybe you go, okay, Judah, what do you mean for Judah? You can click on Judah and there, or just hover over Judah. There you are. And there's a whole history of Judah, right? You can go ahead and go back. Who wrote it? That's always a good question, because the Bible likes to put names of people, and Christians over the centuries have assumed that those people wrote the books. Sometimes no. Most of the books of the Bible are in somebody's name, but they're anonymous. So who wrote it? Well, it's attributed to a prophet named Obadiah, but we have no biographical information about him. We find out that the name Obadiah was pretty common. Okay, and there are 11 other people in the Old Testament who are named that. And so none of them can easily be identified with the writer of this exilic book written. Next question, when was it written? All right. Well, it's after the fall of Jerusalem. So we have an idea about when it was written. That can be very, very important. When we look at, again, I mentioned that passage in Nehemiah where the foreign women were expelled. Well, if that was written back at the time of Moses, that puts a whole different level of a different interpretation. Oh, well, we better get rid of foreign women all along. But if it was written at the time when people came back from exile and found that their culture was gone and they had to rebuild everything from scratch, well, it helps us understand a little bit what was in Nehemiah's mind. Okay. And what's it about? How do we read it? The how do I read it, I find really helpful. So Obadiah is a prophetic book rooted in particular historical circumstances, but looking to a future time. Then you should read it, therefore, both with some knowledge of its historical background and with an understanding of its future vision. So we don't read all parts of the Old Testament the same. We'll read the Psalms very differently than we'll read a book like Obadiah. So can you just swing over to the left, see where it says outline? Everybody see that? So click on that. There you go. You can find an outline of any book in the Bible, Old or New Testaments. And that's real helpful. But, sometimes it's just hard to get a sense of what is this whole thing about. So the outlines can be very, very helpful. You can go back over to get a background, looking for historical. Yeah, there you go. All right. So, there again, you get a historical setting. A couple of you said knowing about the historical setting of the books is important for you. There you go. We won't go through all of these because of times, but introductory issues, theological themes, and then if you go back, it says view all content related to this book. Yeah. Okay, in this case, not much, but go to the right where it says, what is it about associated time period? Kingdom of Judah. I want to talk a bit about those time periods in a minute, because that's also very, very helpful for us. So if we want to know what was happening at the time, if you go to resources and you click on timeline, you're going to see how the different the books of the Bible are associated with various different times in the history of the people of God, of the Jewish people in the Old Testament. So you have, just go ahead and scroll down. Okay. So when you're looking at a book of the Bible and you're thinking, what was the historical setting? What was going on in the world around Judah or Israel at the time? Go back to that resources tab at the top, click on the timelines and take a look. You'll find maps. You'll find sometimes you'll find videos where a professor at Luther Seminary has talked about a particular passage in a book, and that can be very, very helpful. Or can talk about, a certain point of interpretation or understanding of a book, and those videos can be really, really helpful for you too. So here you are, the book of Habakkuk. Do you see where it says courses? Hit that down, and then hit on Habakkuk. Click on Habakkuk. Now the courses, it's just it's a bunch of material that you can walk through in a systemic manner if you wanted to. What happened? There we go. So you have to scroll down to get to this, and there you see where it says course content. You can click on any of these options, and you're going to get information on Habakkuk. You can get you can get an outline of Habakkuk. You can get background. You can get a summary of the book. You can get introductory issues in Habakkuk, just things you need to think about, as you're in the process. The theological themes in Habakkuk. You can look at all of this stuff. Now, just back to the left there at the bottom where it says view all content related to this book. There may be nothing here, but give it a click. So you can look at, sometimes they will have individual passages. They won't have all of them. There might be a podcast. There may not. Go to characters. If you click on characters, we're not going to do it with Habakkuk. Apparently it's not cooperating, but it'll give you a list of key people that are mentioned in that book. Then under the maps, want to click on ancient Near East. There you go. You got a map. You can even download the map. Okay. So there's a whole wealth of information here. If you can go up again to resources and hit timeline. Now we're moving away out of Habakkuk here. This is, no matter what book you're in, if you click on the book, it's going to give you a time period. And then you can click on any of these, and it's going to tell you about that particular time period to which the book relates. So the United Monarchy. So the Bible is the people, Philistine aggression is the reason that Israel decides that it wants to have a king. Before this, they were a confederation of tribes, but there's being threatened by a military force, by the Philistines. And so they decide that they need a king. So all that background will be here, okay, to give you, and that'll help make some of the stuff that you said you don't like because it's confusing and it doesn't make sense. You can get an answer to a lot of that stuff just by playing around in Enter the Bible. It wasn't put together to be used solely by pastors, but it was put together for lay people. So I commend it to you, and I really urge you to play around with it. There's just so much free information there.